Built-in functions max iterable comma star comma key is equal to none. Max iterable comma star comma default comma key is equal to none. Max arg1 comma arg2 comma pointer args comma key is equal to none. Return the largest item in an iterable or the largest of two or more arguments. If one positional argument is provided, it should be an iterable. The largest item in the iterable return. If two or more positional arguments are provided, the largest of the positional arguments is returned. There are two optional keyword only arguments. The key argument specifies a one argument ordering function like that used for list.sort. The default argument specifies an object to return if the provided iterable is empty. If the iterable is empty and default is not provided, a value error is raised. If multiple items are maximal, the function returns the first one encountered. This is consistent with other sort stability preserving tools such as sorted iterable comma key is equal to key function comma reverse is equal to true subscript 0 and heap q dot n largest 1 comma iterable comma key is equal to key func. New in version 3.4, the default keyword only argument. Changed in version 3.8, the key can be none. Class memory view object. Return a memory view object created from the given argument. See memory views for more information. Mean iterable star key is equal to none. Mean iterable comma star comma default comma key is equal to none. Mean argument 1 argument 2 comma pointer args comma key is equal to none. Return the smallest item in an iterable or the smallest of two or more arguments. If one positional argument is provided, it should be an iterable. The smallest item in the iterable is returned. If two or more positional arguments are provided, the smallest of positional arguments is returned. There are two optional keyword only arguments. The key argument specifies a one argument ordering function like that used for list.sort. The default argument specifies an object to return if the provided iterable is empty. If the iterable is empty and default is not provided, a value error is raised. If multiple items are minimal, the function returns the first one encountered. This is consistent with other sort stability preserving tools such as sorted iterable comma key is equal to key func subscript 0 and heap q dot n smallest 1 comma iterable comma key is equal to key func. New in version 3.4, the default keyword only argument. Changed in version 3.8, the key can be none. For example, let's see max and min example. So print the word occurring first in dict dot among given is comma and is equal to empty. Print mean kicks comma manjit comma algorithm comma programming. Printing the word occurring last among these indict. Geeks Manjit algorithm programming. The word occurring last indict among given is comma and is equal to this. Max is equal to Geeks Manjit algorithm programming. So here algorithm, right, and is equal to blank instead of new line. That's why the second print statement prints in the same line. So among given is programming, right? Hmm. So this one is the max, right? And then now next iterator comma default. Retrieve the next item from the iterator by calling its underscore underscore next underscore underscore method. If default is given, it is returned if the iterator is exhausted. Otherwise, stop iteration is raised. Class object. Return a new featureless object. Object is a base class for all classes. It has methods that are common to all instances of Python classes. This function does not accept any arguments. Note object does not have a underscore underscore dict underscore underscore method, sorry, variable. So you cannot assign arbitrary attributes to an instance of the object class. Oct octx convert an integer number to an octal string prefixed with 0 o. The result is a valid Python expression. If x is not a Python integer object, it has to define an underscore underscore index underscore underscore method that returns an integer. For example, oct8 0 0 10 oct minus 56 string minus 0 0 70. If you want to convert an integer number to an octal string either with the prefix 0 or not, you can use either of the following ways. Percentage hash o, percentage 10, percentage o, percentage 10, 0012. This, let's print this one. Print it will print in hash, in octal, and in decimal modulo 10. Format 10, print format 10, format 10 hash o, format 10 o, 0012, and this is also same. See also format for more information. Open file comma mode is equal to r comma buffering is equal to -1, encoding is equal to none, errors is equal to none, new line is equal to none, close fd file descriptor is equal to true, opener is equal to none. Open file and return a corresponding file object. If the file cannot be opened, an OS error is raised. See reading and writing files for more examples of how to use this function. File is a path-like object, giving the path name absolute or relative to the current working directory of the file to be opened, or an integer file descriptor of the file to be wrapped. If a file descriptor is given, it is closed when the returned IO object is closed unless close FD is set to false. Mode is an optional string that specifies the mode in which the file is opened. It defaults to R, which means open for reading in text mode. Other common values are W for writing, truncating the file if already exists, X for exclusive creation, and A for appending, which on some Unix systems means that all writes append to end of the file regardless of the current seek position. In text mode, if encoding is not specified, the encoding used is platform dependent. Local.getEncoding is called to get the current local coding encoding. For reading and writing raw bytes, use binary mode and leave encoding unspecified. The available modes are character meaning R open for reading default, W open for writing truncating the file first, X open for exclusive creation failing if the file already exists, A open for writing appending to the end of file if it exists, B binary mode, T text mode default, plus open for updating reading and writing. The default mode is R open for reading text, a synonym for of RD. Modes W plus and W plus B open and truncate the file. Modes R plus and R plus B open the file with no truncation. As mentioned in the overview, Python distinguishes between binary and text IO. Files opened in binary mode, including B in the mode argument, return contents as bytes objects without any decoding. In text mode, the default or when T is included in the mode argument, the contents of the file are returned as a string. The bytes having been first decoded using a platform dependent encoding or using the specified encoding if given. Note: Python doesn't depend on the underlying operating system's notion of text files. All the processing is done by Python itself and is therefore platform independent. Buffering is an optional integer uh, used to set the buffering policy. Pass 0 to switch buffering off, only allowed in binary mode. 1 to select line buffering, only usable when writing in text mode. And an integer greater than 1 to indicate the size in bytes of a fixed size chunk buffer. Note that specifying a buffer size this way applies for binary buffered IO, but text IO wrapper. Example files opened with mode is equal to R plus would have another buffering. To disable buffering in text IO wrapper, consider using the write through flag io.text IO wrapper reconfigure. When no buffering argument is given, the default buffering policy works as follows. Binary files are buffered in fixed size chunks. The size of buffer is chosen using a heuristic trying to determine the underlying device's block size and falling back on IO.default buffer size. On many systems, the buffer will typically be 4096 or 8192 bytes long. Interactive text files for which is ATTY returns true use line buffering. Other text files use the policy described above for binary files. Encoding is the Encoding is the name of the encoding used to decode or encode the file. This should only be used in text mode. The default encoding is platform dependent, whatever local.get encoding returns, but any text encoding supported by Python can be used. See the codecs module for the list of supported encodings. Errors is an optional string that specifies how encoding and decoding errors are to be handled. This cannot be used in binary mode. A variety of standard error handlers are available listed under error handlers, though any error handling name that has been registered with codex.register error is also valid. The standard names include strict to raise a value error exception if there is an encoding error, The default value of none has the same effect. Ignore ignores errors. Note that ignoring encoding errors can lead to data loss. Replace causes a replacement marker such as question mark to be inserted where there is a malformed data. Surrogate escape will represent any incorrect bytes as low surrogate code units ranging from U plus DC80 to U plus DCFF. This, these surrogate code units will then be returned back into the same bytes when the surrogate escape error handler is used when writing data. This is useful for processing files in an unknown encoding. XML char ref replace is only supported when writing to a file. Characters not supported by the encoding are replaced with the appropriate XML character reference and ampersand has an colon. Backslash replace replaces malformed data by Python's backslash escape sequences. Name replace also only supported when writing replaces unsupported characters with backslash and in bracket dot escape sequences. New line determines how to parse new line characters from the string. It can be none, blank, or new line character, return character, and carriage return new line. It works as follows. When reading input from stream, if new line is none, universal new lines mode is enabled. Lines in the input can end in backslash n, backslash r carriage return, or backslash r backslash n form field, and these are translated into backslash n before being returned to the caller. If it is empty, universal new lines mode is enabled, but line endings are returned to the caller untranslated. If it has any of the other legal values, input lines are only terminated by the given string, and the line ending is returned to the caller untranslated. When writing output to the stream, if new line is none, any backslash n character return are translated to the system default line separator, os.line separator. If new line is blank or backslash n, no translation takes place. If new line is any of the other legal values, any backslash n characters return are translated to the given string. If closefd is false and a file descriptor rather than a file name was given, the underlying file descriptor will be kept open when the file is closed. If a file name is given, closefd must be true, the default, otherwise an error will be raised. A custom opener can be used by passing a callable as opener. The underlying file descriptor for the file object is then obtained by calling opener with file flags. Opener must return an open file descriptor passing os.open as opener results in functionality similar to passing none. The newly created file is non-inheritable. The following example uses the dir underscore fd parameter of the os.open function to open a file relative to a given directory. Import os dir fd is equal to os.open some directory comma os.o underscore read only diff opener path flags return os.open path comma flags comma dir fd is equal to dir fd with open spam.txt comma w opener is equal to opener as f print this will be returned to some directory slash spam.txt file is equal to f os.close dir underscore fd. Don't leak a file descriptor. The type of file object returned by the open function depends on the mode. When open is used to open a file in the text mode, wr, wt, rt, etc., It returns a subclass of io.text io base, specifically io.text io wrapper. When used to open a file in a binary mode with buffering, the returned class is a subclass of io.buffered io base. The exact class varies. In read binary mode, it returns an io.buffered reader. In write binary and append binary modes, it returns an io.buffered writer. And in read write mode, it returns an io.buffered random. When buffering is disabled, the row stream, a subclass of io.row io base, comma io.file io is returned. See also the file handling modules such as file input, comma io, where open is declared, comma os.path, comma temp file, comma and sutil shutil raises an auditing event open with arguments file, comma mode, comma flex. The mode and flex arguments may have been modified or inferred from the original call. Changed in version 3.3. The opener parameter was added. The X mode was added. IO error used to be raised. It is now an alias of OS error. While exist error is now raised if the file opened in exclusive creation mode X already exists. Changed in version 3.4. The file is now non-inheritable. Changed in version 3.5. If the system call is interrupted and the signal handler does not raise an exception, the function now retries the system call instead of raising an interrupted error exception. See PAP 475 for the rationale. The name replace error handler was added. Changed in version 3.6. Support added to accept objects implementing os.pathlike. On Windows, opening a console buffer may return a subclass of io.row io base other than io.file io. Changed in version 3.11, the U capital U mode has been removed. Thank you.